So see you in
And as it turned out, as I was looking at it, there's not a lot of pearl in it. Mainly around the top. It looked like it was a bunch of branches came together and a little pearl in between each of the branches. So I thought I'd just leave a heavy bowl, and it's not finished. It has one coat of shellac on it, maybe two coats. It's got a lot of cracks along the rim. And here's some very big cracks. They were much bigger, and as I kept cutting it down, making it smaller, right down into where the cracks are a little thinner, a little narrower. But they go through to the inside, so there's going to pieces not disappear without you're not going to get the cracks out of it. So I filled them, and they're not all full, completely level. Being as thick as it is, it's going to distort. It's not going to sit flat on the table. So I'm going to work the bottom down. Take some more off the bottom, make basically an inverted bowl on the bottom of it, and then carve most of that away and end up with 3 legs. So it'll sit on 3 legs and it will sit level when it distorts. The little cracks that are in it, what I will do with that, when I'll be ready to put the water rocks on, I'll sand it with 320 grit or 220 grit and get a little bit of sanding dust. And then I'll put a coat of water rocks on and put sanding dust in the crack. And the finish will seal up and glue the crack, glue the dust into the crack. When I get real fine cracks like that, I've done it on my furniture and stuff too. You have a little bit of an imperfection in the wood. I'll use the finish to put the dust back into the crack. So this is not finished yet, as I said, so no more work done on it. But that's what it ended up. You see, it's mostly wood on the bottom and then burl around the top. I don't even see a real good definition of the branches that were coming out of it when I saw it, when we had it here originally. So they pretty much got cut away. You can see a little bit of a burl, the little eyes from the burls in some places, but it's not as nice a burl as some of the others that we've seen. But we'll get something out of it, get the feet on, I think it'll
right. Yeah. When you sand it, then you let the dust collect in the cracks and you quickly cover it with wood.
Yeah, I'll either do that or collect it on the paper, and then as I put the finish on, and I'll add a little bit of dust to the crack. Right. And basically that fills in the crack. And that way it'll be basically smooth except for the few little pieces of bark eggs that I left on there. I'm not going to fill those in. And some of this bark that's got some fine cracks in, I might either fill them in or take a burning tool and burn them to accentuate the crack a little bit more. It depends on what it looks like when I get everything else finished.
Okay. How about this pre-walnut bowl? That's mine. It's just a walnut bowl. It's finished with salad bowl finish, and I waxed it. But the reason I brought it in is because I took it to the Ellsworth thing on Sunday, and I kind of like the shape. It sits nice on the table. Just as an example, he didn't care for the foot. You know. So I don't know. I like it. I made it. I sold it. My wife bought it.
I'll be good with the price.
I've done that with short chocolate flat. How about this pretty little vase?
That's mine.
It's a lovely piece.
I was at the downtown Lancaster at the art walk on Saturday with Ron and just decided to try to go over the Hall of Fame. And I had this piece of cherry sitting around the garage. I don't know what the heck happened with the bottom of it, but anyway, it's trying feel on the bottom. I got the weight where I was really quite pleased with it. So that was really pretty cool. I brought a couple of these other things as well.
So you hollowed that, it's just not drilled out?
No, it's all hollow, just a hollow form, okay, hollow form tools. No, I didn't try, you know, I was thinking about what Ellsworth was saying about the heat, and I've been practicing with that whole process to figure, because one of the temptations on hollow forming is see how much crud you can get in before you have to start scraping it up. You know, because you want to turn as much as possible. And you do that with the free time, and you figure you might want to clean it a bit more regularly. Because you catch it, and then the piece goes flying. I've broken a few pieces. This other little piece here, it's a piece of box silver. It was a core of a bigger bowl, and I left it in the shop, and it just, the gray of some sort of fungus growth, and it turned gray. So I have no idea what caused that, and I've seen it happen on my holly.
Yeah.
It grows gray in the shop. I've had a couple pieces do it for me, and I think it's just the level of moisture. But it really added a nice accentuated surface on it. And it was one of these ones where I also really, I was thinking after the Ellsworth thing, I shaped the outside and I was watching the outside of the bowl when I was doing the inside of the curve, like Ellsworth said, and I just felt like a nail. It's one of those ones where you just feel you nail the shape on it. As you're saying, I was reading what you were saying about shape.
Yeah.
Sometimes, every once in a while, I was just like, wow.
Was it finished?
It's a box elder, and it's just a polyurethane gloss finish on it. I got a book on finishing wood, which is quite interesting too. So that's it.
Mr. Martin? Mr. Martin? What kind of wood will not naturally spalt?
Will not?
Yes.
I don't know of any wood that won't be attacked eventually by fungus.
All right.
Unless it would be something from the tropics that I'm obviously not familiar with.
I actually read in Purple Heart that the 2x4s that were used in Washington, they brought it up because it's a tropical wood and it doesn't rot nearly as fast in the northern environment because it's so advanced and everything. But up here, it just doesn't rot. So, but it rotted, of course, after 75 years. But anyway.
Well, even our hardest wood, which is dogwood,
Yeah.
and Bob showed me a bowl he made today, and it's got fungus in it. But it was a big old piece that had been dead for, I think, about 5 years before I was asked to cut it down.
This last piece I made a friend of mine was cutting up a walnut tree, and he had one of these saw misers, you know, you go through and do it with and this was a slab off piece from one of the branches. It was about 2 inches by about this high, about that wide, 2 inches thick, and I just love the grain on it. So yeah, it's just the grain just struck me so much. It's like one of those ones where you don't want to overdo the shape and let the grain speak for itself. And I was really trying to nail the sort of really shallow curve on it. And there's still a few bumps in there, but yeah, you can see it. But it's the first time I've ever done that big a curve on that shallow form and try to get it continuous. So as those of you who've done it, it's a challenge to do. So you got to start someplace. So this is my first crack at it. Pretty good. Thank you.
We don't use the word crack.
My first check. Yeah.
Before the night's over, I need your information. For some reason, I don't have it. We'll get it before the night's over.
I gave Randy